How to find your niche on YouTube? Folks, creating a YouTube channel is easy. The hard part is figuring out what your channel should actually be about. Should you choose a niche that gets the most views? A niche that makes the most money? Or should you simply follow your passion? And what if you do not even know what your passion is? Because one wrong decision here can make your entire YouTube journey much harder than it needs to be. So, in this video, I will show you exactly how to find your niche on YouTube, even if you have no idea where to start. Let us get into it. Watch it completely without skipping. At the end, I'll also break the myth of high CPM niches. Look, finding your interests is the first step in your YouTube journey. YouTube is a long-term game. Building a successful channel takes a serious amount of time and energy. And if you are creating content around something you genuinely do not care about, there is a good chance you will eventually get bored and quit. Even Mr. Beast, who now has over 500 million subscribers, had to wait for about 5 years to reach his first 1 million subscribers. That is why you need to figure out what you could actually see yourself creating content about. Simply, finding your own interests. Grab a pen and paper and write down everything you are currently interested in. But if you are thinking, I do not really have a passion or don't have a specific interest, that is completely fine. Answer these 4 questions instead. Question number 1 is, what content do you already consume? Before becoming a creator, you are a viewer. So look at what you already watch. Go through your YouTube history and see which topics you have been watching the most over the last month or two. Then do the same with Instagram, X, Reddit, and other social platforms. Look at the content that keeps showing up in your feed and the videos you actually stop to watch. You might discover interests you never even realized you had. Question number 2 is, what could you talk about for 10 minutes? Now ask yourself this. If someone put you on a stage and said, you have 10 minutes, talk about anything you want, what would you talk about? For most people, the first topic that comes to mind is something they are genuinely interested in or already know quite a lot about. It does not matter if the topic seems random. Just write it down. Question number 3 is, what do people come to you for? Think about your friends and family. What kind of help or advice do people usually come to you for? Maybe they ask you which digital camera, smart TV, or gadget they should buy. Maybe they come to you for advice about their kids' education or future. Whatever that thing is, write it down. And last question is, what are you currently learning? This one is especially useful because you do not need to be an expert. If there is a skill you are currently learning, you can build content around your journey. For example, imagine you joined a gym 1 month ago. You probably should not position yourself as a fitness expert giving advanced advice, but you can document your own beginner journey. What are you learning? What mistakes are you making? How are you transforming? You can turn that entire process into video content. And the biggest advantage is, you can build an audience while you learn. After answering these 4 questions, you should have at least 4 or 5 potential topics. But there is a problem. Most of those topics will probably be way too broad. And that brings us to step 2, finding a sub-niche. Y'all, in the journey of how to find your niche on YouTube, now when you have your list, it is time to get more specific. Let's say you want to start an art channel. Art is an enormous, jam-packed niche with thousands of channels already competing for the same audience. So instead of targeting all of art, go more specific. For example, within the art niche, you could focus on pencil sketching or even portrait pencil sketching. People in New York, California, and even Texas could be your prime audience. Or if your interest is fitness, you could narrow it down to weight loss, or even weight loss with home workouts. People in Colorado, especially around Denver, could be a great audience for this type of content. This process is called niching down. Now you might be wondering, why make the niche so specific? Here is the interesting part. Large creators usually do the opposite. If an art channel already has millions of subscribers, it can afford to make videos for a huge audience. It wants topics that appeal to as many people as possible. They will never touch a narrow topic. And that is actually an opportunity as a new creator. If you target a broad niche like art, you are competing directly with established creators who may have better production, editing, storytelling, experience, and massive audiences. But when you narrow the niche down, the competitive field becomes much smaller, and the creators you are competing with are more likely to be channels closer to your size. That gives you a much better chance to stand out. Instead of becoming just another art channel, you could become known for portrait pencil sketching. And when you know exactly who your audience is, creating content becomes easier too. You understand their problems. You understand their interests. You understand what they are trying to achieve, and that gives you much better video ideas. There is another important advantage. Niching down does not mean you are trapped there forever. If your channel grows and you eventually feel that your niche is limiting your audience, you can expand. You simply reverse the process. Start specific. Build an audience. Then gradually go broader. So look at the 4 or 5 topics on your list and ask yourself, what smaller sub-niche could I specifically target within each one? And this is not just theory. There are creators who started with a very specific audience and expanded later. Take Marcus Jones, for example. Today, his content focuses broadly on YouTube growth, but his earlier positioning was much more specific, with a focus on helping gaming creators. He later broadened his content to help YouTubers more generally. So, he essentially started with YouTube growth for gaming creators. Then, as the audience grew, he expanded into the much broader YouTube growth niche. That is exactly how niching down can work in practice. So far, we have taken your interests and narrowed them into potential sub-niches. But there is still one major question. How do you know whether your chosen sub-niche actually has potential? And that brings us to the final step. Evaluate the potential. A little pause here. If you are finding this kind of practical YouTube advice useful, subscribe now, because I regularly break down the things that actually matter when you are trying to grow a channel. Everyone, now when you have your potential sub-niches, there is one final thing you need to check for final pick, and you start a channel. Look, you do not want to put all your eggs in one basket. A niche might have great demand, but if you cannot keep producing content or cannot monetize it, you have a problem. That's why you need to evaluate 3 things: demand, stock, and profit. The idea is very simple. What if there is no demand for the sub-niche you choose? Nobody wants to watch content about it. Or what if there is demand, but you do not have enough stock of content ideas to keep creating consistently? Or what if there is demand and you have plenty of content ideas, but there is barely any profit or enough ways to monetize it? That is exactly why you need to evaluate all 3. Let's start with demand. You need evidence that people actually want content in your niche. One simple way to check is to search your sub-niche directly on YouTube. Look at the results. Are multiple creators consistently getting good views? If yes, that is a strong signal that an audience exists. But if your niche is so specific that almost nobody is watching the available videos, that is a warning sign. You may have gone too narrow. You can also use tools like vidIQ to research keywords related to your niche and see how much search interest they receive. Check the description if you want to subscribe to vidIQ with a surprising discount. The goal is simple. You want a niche with an actual audience. Once you confirm demand, move to the second factor, stock. Your stock of content ideas. Ask yourself, can I realistically come up with at least 100 good video ideas in this niche? YouTube takes time. If you run out of ideas after 15 or 20 videos, it does not matter how much demand your niche has. You will struggle to build a channel long term. So, open a blank page and start brainstorming. And do not simply copy ideas from YouTube. Write down as many original video ideas as you can around your niche. If you can easily come up with 40 or 50 ideas, that is already a very good sign. It means there is probably enough room to keep creating. But if you are struggling to reach even 20 ideas, one of two things may be happening. Either your niche is too narrow, or you are simply not as interested in the topic as you thought you were. And finally, we have the third factor, profit. This is where a lot of new creators make mistakes. They look for the niche with the highest CPM. But high CPM means very little if you hate making the content and cannot stay consistent. Instead, ask a bigger question. If I build an audience in this niche, how many ways could I actually make money from it? For example, besides ad revenue from his YouTube videos, a creator of fitness niche could potentially earn through sponsorships, affiliate marketing, one-on-one coaching, courses, merchandise, and other products or services. So, evaluate your niche the same way. Do not just ask, does this niche have a high CPM? Ask, does this niche give me multiple ways to monetize an audience? This becomes especially important if you want YouTube to become more than a hobby. If your goal is to build a business or a full-time career, monetization potential matters. Now, put it all together. Take the 4 or 5 sub-niches you came up with. Evaluate each one based on these 3 factors, and choose the option that looks strongest overall. Team, there is one big question here. Will this be the 100% perfect niche for you? The answer is no. Don't be disappointed. Ask yourself, does it really need to be 100% perfect? No, it doesn't. You will learn things about your niche only after you actually start making videos. So do not spend the next 6 months trying to discover the perfect niche. At some point, research turns into overthinking. Plan enough to make a smart decision, then take action. Because the best niche on paper means nothing if you never publish your first video. And if you have already decided on your niche while watching this video, tell me what it is in the comments. Even if you took a month to decide on a niche, must come here in comments. I want to see what you came up with. It will also help other creators like you. That's end from my side, and I hope you will now never search for how to find your niche on YouTube, isn't it? And if this video helped you figure out your direction, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon because there is a lot more coming to help you build and grow your YouTube channel. Now that you are ready to start your YouTube journey, click on this video next. I'll see you there.